Slurp-de-derp, my G's. Hope you're all doing wonderful. Does anyone know where the slurp originated from? Leave a comment down below if you know where that originally comes from. Anyway, I don't mean like the slurp as itself as a slurp. I mean why I started slurping at the intro. Do you know why that happened? Do you know? Anyway, I hope you're doing wonderful. We've had a very lovely live stream yesterday. If you haven't seen it, go and have a little catch up because 7 of my loyal Patreon supporters dropped some absolute bangers and it was a pleasure to listen to them all, and I thank you all for watching. I have been a little bit quiet on YouTube with my uploading consistency. The reason for that is I was away for a little while, and also I've been creeping and crafting and doing stuff behind the scenes on Patreon as well. I've been trying to level up my Patreon page and making like content that's just exclusive on there. Been doing like a Discord Dynasties series where I break down, I make a track kind of together with you guys step by step in the Discord, which is sick. More stuff on that to come soon. I've been doing presets just for Patreon as well, and and also I've just been away. I've been in the Baltics and eating some lovely food. A little funny story to tell you, but what I wanted to do was while I was away, I had this idea of doing a really quick little Vital video, just explaining why I like Vital again, for the people at the back. My 7 best features about Vital, okay? And it's a very simple, easy video today, nothing crazy or complex. Here's one of the nice basses I made recently, and I made a tutorial on this one on Patreon for the €1 tier squad. Sorry to keep promoting my Patreon, it's just important that I get some kind of revenue, otherwise I will fall into living on the streets making Vital presets on a bench. Anyway, that being said, my favourite things about Vital... I made a couple of different basses here, and some like kind of nice sounds as well. Let's talk about my favourite features for Vital. So, let me just initiate a preset. This is not really going to be a tutorial on making a specific sound today. I just want to tell you off the top of my head. Well, I did write a note on my phone, but I've left that somewhere else, so I'll try and remember now. Number 1 is the simplicity and the interface of Vital is something that's just kept me coming back to it, you know, for years. When I first uploaded a live stream of me playing with Vital for the first time, that was actually when my channel like kind of blew up a little bit. You know, I got like a few thousand views for the first time ever, when I was just playing with Vital, you know, my reaction to it. I was like, ooh, what a lovely saw wave you've created. So it's, but what's kept me coming back to it is the simplicity. Because you're limited, you know, with Faceplant you're limitless. You know, there's loads, but then sometimes that's a bit daunting. And sometimes, like, if you want to just, you know, hop in, hop out, make a sound just like an SAS soldier, then that's why I like Vital, because I can. It's like, you know, you're jumping in, have a quick game of Call of Duty for 10 minutes and then leave. That's how I treat Vital, just like have a quick go and then leave. Because I can make a cool bass sound in 10 minutes, you know, because it's like quite limited with what you can do. So I like the simplicity. By the way, leave a comment down below what your favourite feature about Vital is as well. But yeah, number 1 is I like the simplicity, that there's only 3 oscillators, you've got your white noise, your filters, everything's very like, you turn it on, turn it off, you can see what's on, see what's off. The LFO's nice in this area, then you've got your glide and everything that you need down there. Envelopes, don't really use them so much, but just the main one, it's good to have just to get rid of the clicks and make it longer if you need to, that kind of thing. Jump over to the effects. I love that you can just like switch the effects around. I love how simple it is, just like all the key effects that you need, and you're only allowed to use them all once, so it's limited in a way, but that kind of helps to just like get your sound finished before you spend hours and hours on it, you know. Matrix and Advanced, really cool stuff, but the most of the time I'm just in the voicing and the effects, to be honest, and that's simple enough and easy enough. So the simplicity of the synth in itself, and the the interface, how it just looks, and it's very simple to me to understand. That's the number one feature that keeps me coming back to Vital for more. Let me go and get my phone quickly because I forgot the other notes. All right, my second thing that I like about Vital and why I keep coming back to it is because it has a good sound and because it has low CPU. So there's loads of synths on the market, and you know, I've used Vital, like the sub basses and the mid basses that I've created with it. You know, I've used that in almost all of my newest tracks of the last few years, and in my opinion the sound quality has been perfect, you know, to make basses and leads. I've never thought, oh, the sound quality is too low. You know, I've made tracks that have gone on to be played on BBC radio, introducing and stuff like that, you know, with basses that I've made in Vital. So that, you know, you can't really dispute the fact that you can obviously make a absolutely high enough sound quality bass with it, you know. It's just the proof is in the pudding, really. So I think it's got a great sound, just in terms of its algorithm, just in terms of as a software synth, you know, the sine waves and the different oscillators that you have, they sound powerful, you know, they're very, very powerful to me. And it's also low CPU, in my opinion. The one issue I slightly have with the sound quality is that I'll sometimes get clicks and pops and things that happen randomly. But as I mentioned before, how I use Vital is I jump in, I make a sound, I bounce it out, you know. So I tend to once I've made the sound and I'm happy with it, I'll render it to audio. And I'll make sure, you know, in the render that there's no clicks or pops or anything weird going on. And if there is, you know, then I'll just rebounce it, or I'll just bounce a longer version and then cut the bit that doesn't have the clicks and pops in, you know. But it's a small, like, complaint. And I like to work in audio, so I don't really ever like to keep MIDI channels open anyway, so it doesn't bother me at all. So if there's a few clicks and pops that are random, like, it's not an issue for me at all. And then the other thing with the CPU is you can load quite a lot up. In my opinion, it's one of the lower CPU intensive synths. I've seen some of my students struggle with it because I think their operating system's just really, really old. But from what I know, in my experience, I can load up quite a lot of Vitals at the same time. But I never would do that anyway, because like I said, you know, I make the sound, I bounce it out to audio, and I'm finished with it, you know. So I might at some point have 3 or 4 open at once in my project, and that's never an issue for my CPU. I could probably take way more than that. But in general, I think as far as synths go, the CPU is like really low, like low stress. So I think it's great. You can just like always keep using it on whatever computer you've got. You should be fine. So that combined with the fact that it's got a good sound is like my second favourite thing about Vital. My third favourite thing about Vital is the phaser filters. These just keep me coming back for more and for more and for more. And it's just the sound of them that I just love. You know, you can have so many different filter plugins, different synths with filters built in, but how does that filter actually sound? You know, when it takes those frequencies out or adds those in and recreates the sonic image, how good of a job is it doing, and how is it coloring the sound to make it something new? This one is just wonderful. So even in this kind of this is another cheeky little bass on my Pocket Rockets on Patreon. Only €1 to join per month. Get 5 or more Vital presets every single month delivered to your door in a little envelope with little heart emojis on it as well, because you can have emojis on the envelope. So this one, even if I turn the phaser filter off and then add it on, I just love that. The way that you're able to harness the power of the mid-range of the sound by using, for example, the positive one, where it emphasizes that mid-range part where the growl really sits and scoops a little bit away on either side, and then, you know, adds a bit of motion and movement in that area. Just the way that it does that job is just... And then, you know, because it can be a bit extreme, and you can always just mix it in. So just the way that you can get mid-bass expression, and not just with mid-basses, but actually mid-range content, anything that has an important mid-range content, the way that you can get that mid-range to like become more expressive and sound oftentimes a little bit darker and more menacing is just, it always works well with the phaser filters, like on any sound, and it, like if you mix it in a little bit, just a bit, you can get that mid-range kind of expression into the sound. So the phaser negative and positive both are just like two filter sounds that just work time and time again during my sound design processing chain. So that's like one of the main reasons why I keep coming back to Vital, is just for those. So my fourth favourite thing about Vital is actually the sine waves and how they sound once they're distorted. So sine wave distortion as a concept. If I just take any sine wave, maybe I can add two in to get a bit of movement going on. And if I just run those through the Vital, sorry if I know my audio levels are a bit random sometimes. I know sometimes the mic's too quiet or whatever. I'm not perfect, okay? I can't get everything right. But if you can't hear me well enough through the mic, what you got on your phone or your laptop is a volume button. You just turn up the volume until you can hear. Or better yet, just pay more attention, just squint and listen more carefully, and that might help as well. But anyway, hopefully you can hear me. Right, so what you can do with the distortion is I kind of just like either the soft or the hard clip. Running those sine waves, especially with a bit of filtering as well. It's got a really, really powerful sound, and that was not the best demonstration of the technique that I was trying to show you. For example, this is the most recent bass that I was talking about at the beginning that I put on Patreon already, which I put a bit more time and care into. But this one, essentially, again, look, what I've got is got the drive of the distortion all the way up, and without that, you know, nowhere near as good, obviously. And I'm only using sine waves. And so basically, it's just, it's a combination of, the sine waves are like very, very nice and powerful as they are, you know? And you can't see my eyes, can you? Because I've got like a big shadow from my hat. That's funny. The sine waves are like excellent how they are. I guess in Serum and Phase Plant, you know, they're probably around the same level of sound quality, I would say, you know? You can't really mess up a sine wave, you know? Perfect sine wave. But how does it sound when you slam it through a load of distortion? And what is that distortion module sounding like? And how is it reacting to sine waves? Because when you use the sine wave, which is the most powerful, wave shape to create basses with, then when you want to add character into it, you know, the best way to do that, adding extra harmonics and doing things like really distorting them, gives you that awesome mid bass a lot of the times that you're looking for, with a whole powerful low end to it as well, you know, not compromising any of the low end. And so how the sine wave blends with a particular distortion gives rise to particular results in bass creation, but the way that it happens in Vital is it never fails to impress me. That's why I keep coming back, because I can keep slamming sine waves through the distortion unit at different pitches, different speeds, with different filter versions, like in different ways, with different movements. But the fact is that the sine waves just sound great when you slam them through the distortion in Vital. And so that's like my fourth favourite thing, and this jacket is really hot. So after wearing that jacket, I felt a little bit too hot, so I'm being very au natural now, and a little bit transparent. Hopefully you can't see my skeleton. Anyway, so my fifth favourite thing about Vital is the FM oscillator section, the frequency modulation. What I really, really like is just the way that it sounds, and just take this this preset, for example, the Poison Pancakes. Meh, with the FM on. Yeah, so it can make such a difference in the sound, and it's it's not the fact that Vital can do FM that I like, it's the fact that how Vital does FM sounds epic, And a little top tip is, when you do your FM, try to do things subtly. If you tend to go over the halfway mark of the knob here, then you tend to get like into screechy, horrible sound world, But if you keep it at 25% or less, you'll get lovely results where you can multiply your oscillators together, creating new textures, new realms of sound, new possibilities, all kinds of wonderful things. I believe this one is also on my Pocket Rockets, the Poison Pancakes. I'm pretty sure I put that on there. Yes, I'll have to double check that. But there's a bunch of cool presets on the Pocket Rockets at the moment on Patreon, and check them out for goodness sake. Anyway, so but the FM sound, that's one of my favorite things about Vital, that keeps me coming back for more and more and more, because again, just like with the way the sine waves work great through the distortion, the FM basically works wonderfully even with sine waves as well. So if you can combine all those three things, sine waves, distortion and FM, and then all you're going to do is mess around with your different pitches and stuff, you've got a whole world of different textures that will come out of that alone, so it makes it, although like a very simple synth, so many results you can get by just playing with those parameters. And it's important to always check how the FM sounds in different routings, because you never really know how it's going to finally end up when you're doing sound design. So it's always a bit of a trial and error. But what I can tell you is that I love to make Vital basses. I come back to make Vital basses, and I use the FM section loads to make Vital basses because of the new textures that it unlocks. My sixth favourite thing is, and I'm not getting changed again for this one, is the chorus. And again, it's not the fact that Vital has a chorus. Oh, whoopsie-doo, that's so amazing. We can chorus stuff and make it more stereo spreadable, like a Marmite. You either love it or you hate it, and I love it. And it's a wonderful chorus indeed, sir. Yes, sir, it is indeed, sir. What I love about the Vital chorus is that the sound quality on the chorus unit itself is better than any other chorus I've ever used in 10 years of making music. Well, probably longer than that, actually. 13, 14 years. I've never used a chorus that sounds so good as the one in Vital. It makes everything better. Like any sound you run through the chorus, it makes it better. I've never thought to leave the chorus off in Vital with any of the sound design process and any of my chain, ever, with any sound, ever, in any sound, ever. Okay. This one, the head gutter bass. It's so mono and dry and yucky without it, but with it, without it, just feels like a dry monster in a swamp without any water. But with this one, it's like at least there's a bit of moisture in the swamp now. It adds that moisture to every sound, It makes things a bit wetter, wonderfully wet. And the mix is important to get right, and I never. I'm trying to think of the song now. What song is that? Never ever. That's a really cheesy song, isn't it? I'm a cheesy guy. What can I say? I'm a cheesy YouTuber. Sue me with your cheese factory. Your cheese lies. Right. Anyway. I never tend to go above like 30% or so. It's always wonderful at about 20%, you know? The problem with the chorus is what you're doing is you're adding voices and you're taking away the dry signal, the main powerful, you know, mono sound. So you've got to be careful. You've got to use it in a balanced way. But even when you get it up to 20 or 25%, you can hear a massive impact on it. You might have lost a little bit of mid-rate of mono power, but the trade-off is well worth it in my opinion, and it's not something you can't rectify just by sort of boosting the whole volume again afterwards. So, but the way that the chorus sounds is just excellent. I just love it. You can tweak the delays and the depth to like fine-tune the unison parts so that they blend well with the original sound, so you get a really nice cohesion, and I often do that. I'll often just blend them in. But even with the low end of the chorus, it just sounds great on some like sine waves sometimes as well. So, you know, it's not technically good to stereoize all your low end, but when you know the rules, you can break the rules, right? So sometimes chorusing the whole thing actually gives you like a nice texture. So it's a great thing to do to like break the rules a bit, get a great sound going on, and just mix it in a nice gentle way, and you'll be good, you know? Bit of mid-side EQing afterwards. This has become a longer video than I expected with too many tips. You must check out my Discord Dynasty series because I'm saving all of my goodies for there now. My real production gems are on there now. But anyway, let's continue. So finishing up with a little bit of a softer sound. Little C minor 7th wonder lead. The final thing, my seventh favorite feature in Vital is the compressor unit, and it's not as, in my opinion, as amazing as the first 6 features, but I do really like it, and for the simple fact that it adds a colouring of brightness, which is sort of a new colour to the sound. That's it's almost like saturating it in a particular color for the high end, you know? So completely disregarding the fact that it says compressor, I'm not really thinking about that, because as I use it, I feel like I'm basically getting a saturation in the high end, you know? And again, I always mention this, but I just load up the compressor, turn up the attack a little bit, the release down a bit, and then the sound's still quite balanced. It hasn't really been compressed, you know? And the mix then, you know, it really just boosts the kind of volume and adds a nice colouring to the high end. And it's usually too much at 100%, so I normally just pepper that in like a 10 or 15% or so. But what's great about it is it's a way that you can, in other situations, if you need to add a bit more high end, let's say you've been low pass filtering stuff and you've kind of lost a lot of high end in a sound, it actually sort of adds new high end textures after you've sort of lost them. So it's a great tool through your sound design process in Vital to use to like get a bit more brightness with a nice natural color, should you need it, you know? And I use it most often because what it allows me to do is to refine the sound further. So it allows me to filter the sound, low pass the sound, you know, take out some high end content, take out the content of saw waves that can be too harsh. And then once I've taken that out, it allows me to bring up the high end again with a new color that's a bit softer, and it just works really great for that kind of job. So yeah, I like that as a sort of weird feature, but that has a very useful it's a very useful what's the word I'm looking for? Feature? No, I've said that already. It's a very useful technique to finish off making a sound. So yeah, I like that. That's my 7th favorite feature. So that's it, really. So that's it, my G's. Those are my 7 favourite features about Vital that keep me coming back and using it time and time again. Let us know down below, what's your favourite thing about Vital? Do you agree with any of the features that I listed? Are they some of the things that you like as well? Would love to know. Leave some comments down below. And yeah, once again, final plug, and then I'll be gone, I promise. we've got loads of new Vital presets on my Patreon on the €1 per month tier. If you support on there, not only does it help me out a lot, but you'll get a lot of value as well. You'll get a bunch of free Vital presets every month, and then you'll also get updates on what's going on behind the scenes with my label. You'll get some exclusive tutorials that I'm not releasing on YouTube, so a lot of other things like Vital tutorials, all that's on the €1 tier, so it doesn't sound like a lot of money, but there's loads of value in that. And if you want to take things even further and come and join the Discord in the €10 tier, what I've got on there is a private Discord with some really, really lovely people helping each other to make drum and bass, chatting almost every day. And we also have there a video series that I'm running called Discord Dynasties, where I'm building a whole track from start to finish, and I'm showing you every single step along the way. So, and you can even sort of comment back and give feedback and ideas to help me, you know, design the track in a particular way. So it's a very interactive experience of something that I haven't done before, where you guys basically watch me design a whole track in stages and talk about, give a sort of tutorial on the reason why I'm doing everything, you know, in each particular part of making a track from start to finish. So that's really, really cool in my opinion. Thank you a lot for listening to my sales pitch as well. If you haven't got any money to financially support me, but you appreciate the videos, make sure you do like and subscribe, and make sure you also share the information to your friends, to anyone who is looking for music production lessons. Send them my way. Anyone who's looking for mastering work as well. I'm a very capable mastering engineer. I always get great feedback from my mastering as well. Send them my way as well. Just get them to send me an email. And yeah, aside from that, my G's, I wish you a great rest of your weekend. Thank you everyone again for being on the live stream and creating an awesome vibe yesterday. I'll catch up with you guys very soon. Much love.